Stanton's GO Team meeting where we will follow the agenda as it has been emailed to you and publicly noticed. I would like to remind everyone that this is a meeting of the GO Team. Only members of the GO Team may participate in the discussion. Any members of the public present are here to quietly observe. For members of the GO Team, please identify yourself when you speak. I am pleased to call this meeting of the FL Stanton GO Team to order at 5:21 p.m. Our first order of business is to call roll. The secretary will now take the roll.
Okay. I have Dr. McIntyre.
Present.
Tiffany Coleman.
Present.
Jessica Tucker Rivers.
Present.
Ashley Herbert.
Present.
Miss Lumumba. Okay. One moment. And that, Judy Lamore.
Present.
And did I miss anyone?
Ashley Herbert.
I call Ashley Herbert.
Present.
Okay. And did I miss anyone?
No.
Okay.
So do we have quorum?
Right now. We're missing one. So let me see. Yeah, we have a quorum.
We do have quorum.
Yeah.
The team will now be able to take official action because we have quorum. Thank you, Ms. Powell. Okay, so we will move to our action items. Our first order of business is to approve the agenda. This was provided to you, and I also sent it to your email as well as our group me. Are there any changes to the agenda? May I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I, Stephanie Powell, approve the agenda.
A second?
I second the motion. The motion, Tiffany Coleman.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye, Jessica Tucker.
Aye, Judy Lamore.
Aye, Ashley Herbert.
Aye, Tiffany Coleman.
I'm sorry, I didn't know I was muted. I apologize. All opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? Please say abstain. All right, our agenda has been approved. We will review and approve the meeting minutes from our last meeting. The minutes have been provided to you. Are there any corrections? If there are no corrections, may I have a motion to approve the previous meeting's minutes?
Motion to approve, Judy Lamore.
A second?
I second, Tiffany Coleman.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye, Jessica Tucker.
Aye, Judy Lamore.
Aye, Ashley Herbert.
Aye, Stephanie Powell.
Aye, Tiffany Coleman.
All opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? Please say abstain. Our previous minutes have been approved. Okay, moving to our next action item. We We have a nomination for our swing seat. Give me 1 second. Okay, here we go. All right, we will now move to filling our vacant seat of our swing seat. We will now fill the seat. Dr. McIntyre, do you have any nominations for our swing seat?
Yes, I'd like to nominate parent Candace Allen.
Would you like to provide some information about Ms. Allen? And Ms. Allen, you'll be able to also um, say a few words if you choose.
So Miss Allen is a parent of a first grade student at FL Stanton. She has been an involved parent, kindergarten and this year first grade. She is also a valuable member of the community. I believe also a former FLS student as well. So happy to nominate Miss Allen.
Ms. Allen, would you like to say a few words?
Um, no.
And that is perfectly fine. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Dr. McIntyre. We will now proceed to vote on this nomination for the nomination of Ms. Candace Allen to fill the vacant position of our swing seat. Does anyone have any comments or discussions about the nominee? Okay. All in favor, please say aye. Aye, Jessica Tucker.
Hi, Judy Lamore.
Hi, Tiffany Coleman.
I, Stephanie Powell.
I, Ashley Herbert.
Any abstentions? All right. I believe, Ms. Powell, we have our new board member, Ms. Candace Allen. Thank you, Ms. Allen.
Thank you.
All right. We will now move to the discussion items on our agenda. We have our 2025 to 2030 strategic plan development, followed by our information items, which include our principals report and the APS Forward 2040 comprehensive long range facilities plan update. Dr. McIntyre, it's in your hands.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yay. Okay. All right. Okay, so our discussion items today, we're going to, for this business meeting, be talking about our 2025 to 2030 school strategic plan. We will be ensuring the alignment of it to our goals and priorities, as well as the district's goals and priorities. So the Atlanta Public Schools strategic plan, um, really based on these statements, who we are the Atlanta Public School System, and we exist to educate and empower Atlanta's students to shape the future. So very cut and dry and very simple. So with that, these 6 areas are the ways in which we're getting back to basics. So that's been the theme for our strategy for the next 5 years is really a return to being a community of believers. And so this stems from the work and thinking of a former superintendent, Dr. Alonzo Krim, who really believed in making Atlanta Public Schools and the city of Atlanta at large a community of believers in the school system and our students. And so for that, that's how we're getting back to basics. So it's really focused in these 6 areas. Our strength as a team, that we will engage teachers, leaders, and staff to be highly effective. Our responsibility is shared, that Atlanta students have supportive families, communities, and partners. So that's the involvement of everyone. It's once we've involved the staff, we also need to look at large in order to be that community of believers. And then we want to ensure that our system is efficient and effective. And that is that Atlanta students will have the schools and resources they need to succeed. That's really around facility usage, financial investments, as well as people. And then we will talk about, then also the strategic goal involves strengthening our instructional core. So at the heart of it, it's teaching and learning. And so Atlanta students will have high quality instruction, materials, and targeted support. I have this that's in the way, so I can't see anything. Okay, there we go. We are also caring for every child. So this is Atlanta students will have trusted, supportive adults meeting their unique needs. So really targeting chronic absenteeism, our culture, where our SEL lives, and then also having access to trusted and reliable adults. We're also sparking student curiosity. Atlanta students will have access to explore and expand their passions and interests through the arts, athletics, world language, and other enrichment opportunities. So, thinking about program offerings that individual schools or clusters are able to support. So, with that, our key performance indicators, and you will hear me talk about KPIs for both the district and the school as we move through the presentation for today. But number one, by 2030, we will increase the percentage of third grade students scoring proficient or above in ELA by 20 percentage points. Number two, by 2030, we will increase the percentage of eighth grade students scoring proficient or above in math by 20 percentage points. And number three, we will increase the percentage of students meeting at least one CCRPI college and career readiness indicator by 20 percentage points. What that looks like as a target for us and a breakdown going back to those 6 priorities, looking at absenteeism, what that increase looks like, sense of belonging, discipline for all students, as well as subgroups like students with disabilities and Black students, also student and staff relationships, student success plans, as well as school climate. And so we have some targets in some various ways. So some of those ways, of course, are actual assessments and testing, and others that we get that target from our surveys that are completed by staff, community, students, members to partner to determine the state of the school and the district. So our GO Team school strategic plan development, based on what we've just talked about with the district, is taking a look at our mission and vision and how that then aligns with our strategic goals. So what is our purpose? What do we do? And looking at that big picture. Then taking a look at focus areas, objectives, and key performance indicators. That's the work still of this GO team, of the governance. And then the management of what do we actually do to accomplish those things becomes the school responsibility, the school staff. And that's through strategies and actions. So as the GO team helps to craft and create our mission and vision and where we're going over the next 5 years, we'll then have the responsibility to create the strategies and the actions to ensure that those things happen. And not only make sure they happen, but also put in some processes for how do we measure that, and then if it's not working, what do we do, and how do we pivot? So we are educating and empowering Atlanta students to shape the future in both literacy, numeracy, and college and career readiness, which is where those three priorities were for the district. And then we're caring for an example of that is caring how we're caring for every child, and we do that through the multi-tier systems of support. So that's an example of how we take the mission and vision strategic goals, how we then break it down to what does governance look like. So we create some priorities or some performance indicators of how we're going to measure that. And then at the school level, we then implement those actual supports to ensure that we're able to meet those goals. So our GO team focus, we will talk today a little bit about mission and vision and those strategic goals, our purpose, what we do, our big picture for the future, and what results do we want to satisfy our stakeholder needs. And then we'll also look at focus areas and objectives. What do we think the main focus areas are for our work and the continuous improvement activities that we need to get those results? So the purpose of this is to cascade the district plan into the school level plan while still grounding it in our continuous improvement plan. And our timeline is that we are looking at our school's 2030 strategic goals and objectives. We want to get this updated and approved and ranked by January 2026. So this is the reason why we're starting this work now in this business meeting, so that then we can focus on those strategies as part of the FY 2027 budget and continuous improvement plan process. So usually January, February, we start to then make budget decisions. So as we make the FY 27 budget decisions, we will need to make those decisions based on the 5-year plan, the strategic plan that we're putting in place and starting to think about today. So these are some things that we're going to review throughout this presentation. We are going to take a look at our current school strategic plan for 2020 to 2025. We're also going to look at our continuous improvement plan, which we've seen some of these goals before, but we want to make sure that we bring these goals back to the forefront to take a look at them. And then we are going to look at our school data sheet. So that's an example of what that might look like, okay? The process, we're going to review the data, which we're going to do some of that through our SIP, align the mission and vision and purpose. We'll confirm those 2030 goals, create SIP goals for 2030. We'll identify some strategic objectives and then approve our strategic plan and rank our objectives for FY 27. So in this meeting, we're going to look at, this is business meeting number 2. We reviewed the data in the first meeting. So today we're going to look at the data through the lens of the KPI. We're going to take a look at the mission, vision, and purpose, which are actually some things that we revised last year, and then we'll confirm those goals. Today, we are going to look at, like I said, data again, mission, vision, and goals. So here is the data. Here is the KPI. I'll give you a moment to take a look at this, but I want to explain to you what you're looking at first. So on the far left-hand side, these are the focus areas. Next column are the categories. So as we're looking at the district goals, this is the literacy, and then this is the metric that is being used. The current KPI, this is the KPI for Stanton. then the anticipated change goal of what's needed by 2030. So if you remember, the district's change goal was 20%. In order for us to be able to be a part of that and to contribute to that, our change goal may need to be higher or lower in some of those places in order for the district then to be able to meet those goals. So essentially, we have to do our part. So I'm going to give you a moment to review this. Can you all still see this, the whole document? Okay. Just need to be able to see your face so I can see when you are like, all right, move on, lady. I do have a question. Is there anything striking in what you are seeing? Or bad striking?
The percentage of third grade students scoring proficient or above in ELA.
This is based on 2025 data. So where our third graders were scoring last year.
Got it.
Anyone else?
The school climate star rating out of 5 caught my attention.
It's also the district.
Correct.
All right. May I keep going? Okay. Now we're going to take a look at our mission and vision. We actually updated this last year as well, so I will give you a moment to read our mission and vision. Okay, so I guess before we move, any questions about this? All right, we'll keep moving. So this is our 2020-2025 strategic plan. So our mission and vision then help us after review of the data. And if this is our mission, this is our vision, this is where we want to get to, then these are the SMART goals to help us to be able to accomplish that. From those SMART goals, we then identified what were the priorities that the school needed to be able to address these goals. And so the goals were aligned to our continuous improvement plan. So the priorities of the district in alignment with the priorities of the school, and then from there, this as we developed what our school strategies would be to be able to accomplish that. So that's the way this strategic plan reads, and the way in which we will then work to create the strategic plan moving forward from 2025 to 2030. So I give you a moment just to review where we've been for 2020 to 2025. Okay. We ready to move on? I want to move unless you're ready. Okay. I see some head nods. Okay, so we're looking at the alignment now for the mission and vision, and I'm just going to do a quick check. So on a scale of 1 to 5, we're looking at the mission and vision alignment of where we are as a school district in alignment with our mission and vision. So do we feel like our mission and vision helps to support and as well as are aligned to the school district? And so on a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being absolutely not and 5 being absolutely yes, if you could show on the screen, or actually type in the chat. If you can type in the chat your number or rating. So from 1 to 5. Okay. I'm going to hold on. Are for the sake of the discussion, is there anyone, especially those that shared a 3, kind of your thoughts around that?
I guess the district is going more toward even their mission and vision being back to the basics kind of thing. Um, and I was on the fence with a 3 and a 4 because I'm like, okay, maybe it's that ours is giving the formula so that the district's mission and vision can happen. Um, but I just feel like everything that the district is giving us is going with our theme, which is back to basics, and that's not really what this ours is showing per se. But I mean, it could be that ours is the formula to make that happen.
Anyone else want to share? Do you see misalignment? So the wording may be different and more robust. Um, but the main question is there misalignment? Will if this mission and vision remains the same for FLS, will we not get to what the district has outlined as the mission and vision.
From the
We'll
verbiage.
get there with ours. Oh, go ahead, Ms. Judy.
That's
Sorry.
okay. I was just going to suggest that perhaps our verbiage is very heavy on the educate and not as heavy on the empowerment. There's not a lot of opportunity in our wording to turn the responsibility over to the students. But I agree. I mean, I think we're going to get there with what we have here if ours is intended to be a roadmap, but it's definitely very intricate and complex where the districts is very broad.
To your point, though, about turning it over, I am wondering where it talks about fostering innovation and creativity, if that's where, if we're saying at the elementary level, this is where that begins. And so we have the responsibility of teaching and nurturing that to create kind of the platform for them to kind of jump off with that. Any other discussion? All right, well, I will keep going. So we will confirm the 2030 goals. Ex- I've extended the continuous improvement plan goals to 2030. And so we will identify if there are any additional goals for the strategic plan. And you will see that I am offering an additional goal to that plan, especially from where we were in 2020, 2025 to now. Okay, so here we are. So our continuous improvement goals, these are our current SIP goals for FLS. That's at the top. The bottom gives, and that continuous improvement is just for the 2025-2026 school year. The offering for the strategic plan goals are the alignment to those four goals in our strategic plan. So these would be the offering for the four goals for 2025 to 2030.
Are the percentages listed under continuous improvement goals like our ones for by the end of 25, 26? Are those actually reflective of how the students performed at the end of 25? Or
Yes.
are those from when we wrote it?
No,
Okay.
2025. That is this year's goals. So they're
No,
based on,
I
yes.
understand that they're this year's goals, but I thought that we wrote the goals before they took the milestones last year.
No, ma'am. These are the goals that were written at the end of last year. The continuous improvement goals are written by the school.
Okay, they were written after last year's milestones came in.
Huh?
That's what I was just trying to clarify.
Any questions? On what we're seeing? Any other questions? Okay. So, in thinking about, so this was our former plan. You notice that our former SMART goals did not have specific percentages for 2020 to 2025. And so, in looking at changing it and making it more specific, the new proposed SMART goals um, give more specificity to exactly where we are and where we are trying to go and what that growth looks like over time, knowing that, we may not improve by actual 5 percentage points every year. There may be some times when it's lower, but there may be times when it's higher as well, so that we average out that over the next 5 years, we'll be improving of 20 percentage points or 15 percentage points, depending on the area. Okay, so again, our KPI, I do want to make a point in saying too, as we're looking at literacy, that the KPI, even for the district, speaks of third grade in specifics. Our strategic plan covers third through fifth grade, so it's all of the tested areas. In the district plan, it's third grade literacy, eighth grade math, um, and then high school CCRPI, so that it's able to cover each level. Ours is inclusive of third through fifth grade, and then the overall one being attendance. Okay, so we want to discuss this part, the SMART goal part, um, as I was just mentioning that. So the question then is, after reviewing our current strategic plan and school KPIs, are there any additional goals we would like to include with our 2030 SIP goals for the 2025-2030 strategic plan? My only offering is to add science, because science is one of the tested areas and does influence our CCRPI. In previously, we have only talked about literacy, numeracy, and attendance. And so adding science as a content area has been the only offering. So any discussion or thoughts about that?
I think science, it would be a good idea to put science on there as well, because we also, in our mission and vision, we keep speaking about STEAM, and the S is science. So
I also want to note, if science starts to drop, it impacts our CCRPI just like literacy and numeracy.
So whether it's on here or not, it affects our CCRPI either way.
Yes.
So we
Yeah.
might as well make it a goal. That way we can focus in on it and we can plan accordingly, because those are our focus areas. I absolutely agree.
Okay. Um, Here's our nice quote. Strategic planning will help you fully uncover your available options, set priorities for them, and define the methods to achieve them. So this is important. So are there any questions on this?
Now, let me ask you a question. Since we are a STEM school, shouldn't we weigh more heavily on the STEM side of things?
Talk to me a little bit more about what that means. So
Well, I know, and I mean, it from year to year it has varied. In some years, we've been really aggressive with the STEM side of things, letting the children be creative with trying things on the science side. And then on other sides, we have not been so active with the STEM. So some years we're really active with doing the STEM projects and getting new projects in, and some years we have been a little lax. So the consistency of being STEM driven is not being pushed.
Based on the conversation I think we've had tonight, I'm hoping that based on our discussion about including science now as a actual goal within the strategic plan, that will then force us to take a look at what science is looking like. So science is measured at the fifth grade level, but we know that scholars won't be ready to be successful at the fifth grade level without the preparation that happens K4. So by us putting a measurable goal as part of the plan, it does force us to cascade that down and ensure that all the grade levels are indeed implementing science instruction. And then as a school, we're then able to determine from after we have identified that as a priority, identify what particular strategies and actions we want to implement to ensure that we're able to address that goal. So I feel like we are potentially on that path already with sorry, there's someone at the front door. There's that we're on that path already with the goal setting, and then that should come around again as we start to talk about the strategies to address the priorities and the goals. So yes, Ms. Powell, we're trying to address that.
Thank you.
All right. There are no other questions. Ms. Tucker, that's all for the discussion portion.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We will now move into our information items. We have the principal's report and APS Forward 2040 Comprehensive Long Range Facilities Plan Update. You have the floor again, Dr. McIntyre.
Okay, so here are our school updates for the principal report. So these are the upcoming events in October, and not just events, but what's going on in the school. So to Ms. Powell's point, our PBL kickoff will be this Friday for our first project-based learning experience. So we will have two PBLs this school year. We'll have one first semester and one second semester. So our teachers have been diligently planning at each grade level for this PBL. And we actually met today to talk about that kickoff and as a school what that was going to look like. So the entire school will participate in that kickoff on Friday. We also have upcoming two assessments, our mid-semester checkpoint for grades third through fifth grade in literacy, math, and science. And so this checkpoint is what the data that we will get from this is if we were to take the milestones today, how would our students score? So it's not a checkpoint of just the skills that have been learned thus far, but it's the skills that would and concepts that would have been taught throughout the entire year. And so just a gauge of where we are measuring up at this point. So that's the way the checkpoint works. The right score assessment is a little different. That is over the genre and what we have been discussing to this point. So the right score assessment will be over opinion writing, which is really a change for our literacy standards for this year. There the way in which the students are assessed. So it's no longer narrative, informational, and opinion, but they are actually responding persuasive opinion writing. and they are infusing narrative and informational techniques in that. So based on the prompt, we'll determine whether or not they infuse narrative and or informational techniques. That right score assessment will be when we return October 20th through the 24th, but the mid semester checkpoint will actually is slated to begin this week. We've been having a few technical issues, but that window goes from the 7th to the 24th. So we're hoping to begin that this week, and then we'll finish with with math and science when we return. The fall break for students is this coming week, Monday, October 13th through Friday, October 17th. And staff will actually have professional learning days on October 13th and 14th. So the 13th will be a school-based day, and then Tuesday will be a district-based day. Our staff fall break will then be Wednesday through Friday. Unfortunately, all staff are not having a break. But yay, I'm excited to keep working. Then the Douglas High School cluster game and senior night. So we are excited that we will be participating in that cluster night on Thursday, October 23rd at 8 o'clock. So our cheerleaders will actually be there to perform some and participate in the festivities. And then our Camp Jenny kickoff is Friday. I have the 14th, it's the 24th. I have the wrong day. It's Friday, October 24th. So I'll make that change, Miss Judy. But that will happen in the morning during our morning meeting as a school, and so we are excited about that. I also want to make mention that our Go Team Cluster Advisory organizational meeting will be Tuesday, October 21st. I know Ms. Coleman is our cluster representative, so that meeting is Tuesday from 4:30 to 6 once we return from the break. And then for our comprehensive long range facilities planning, so we did have a community meeting on October 1st. We had a pretty good turnout and engagement. The superintendent was actually there, as well as our cluster superintendent, Ms. Forestella Taylor. So both of them were there to be able to address the community, to get some feedback, as well as provide some information and updates about the current proposed scenarios and where we are with those. And so I would encourage our Go team, as well as anyone else who's watching and listening, to definitely take a look at the current surveys and any opportunity to provide feedback, to please participate and provide that feedback. The next public meeting will be October 20th. There's both a virtual session and an in-person session. And then after that, there will be a November meeting. So this October meeting will be the setup for the November board meeting, which I believe will be the first read for the scenarios, and for the board to start making decisions about which scenario and or whether or not any of the scenarios will change. So I do want to say that nothing is set in stone at this point. The scenarios are proposals, and those proposals can be updated, modified. It will really be up to the board as to what ultimately that looks like. I can say for those scenarios, we have not had, they do propose that nothing happened this year or next year, but any impact would be felt by those impacted schools in the 27-28 school year. Are there any questions? Thank you. That's all I have. Ms.
Thank you, Dr.
Tucker?
McIntyre. We have moved to our public comment, and we did not have anyone sign up for our public comment. So we'll move right along to our announcements. I do have one announcement. If you have not completed your Go Team training, please do so as soon as possible. And also, please be on the lookout for that, Miss Allen. As you were just voted in, you will have to do a Go Team training. Any other announcements?
I have the theme for Camp Jenny 2026, but I can't announce it until we're off YouTube and not recording any longer.
Correct. Correct. So stay on just for a second, Miss Judy, so that you can, because I want to know.
Yeah. As Miss Coleman turns around and tells her little person they need to leave.
You can't tell her, Miss Coleman.
I saw that.
I was telling her to get out. Yes. Right, here, go. Bye. Bye.
Are there any other announcements? All right, we have reached the end of our agenda. Is there any additional business at this time? May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
A second?
I second Tiffany Coleman.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye, Jessica Tucker.
I, Ashley Herbert.
I, Judy Lamore.
Hi, Stephanie Powell.
All opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions?